Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On tonight's show, we preview the Atlantic Division in the NBA. That means the Celtics, New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Toronto Raptors. We go over the big trades that happened this week. Damian Lillard traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Jrue Holiday, who got traded to Portland for Damian Lillard, has been traded to the Boston Celtics. Lots of big news happening this week in the NBA before training camp gets rolling along. The season's about 2 weeks away, so we're going to hop into it. But this is Fast Break, live on IA Sports Radio. You're the rate for all sports, and you're welcome to join us. And join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to talk about, lots to get into. You know, a lot of big things happen in the NBA this week. A lot of things are going on right now. And who's to say the moves are done? You know what I'm saying? Who's to say if the moves are done in the NBA? But D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty well, man. There's a lot of crazy news going on. You know, we did see that big Dame news, which we'll talk about. Then other news following. Like you said, the season is coming up soon. So I expect more news to be done. Different trades going on.
Yeah, a lot of trades going on. Lots of, things are happening. And we'll just hop into it. Let's go to the first trade. Damian Lillard finally got his wish. He got traded. But it's a surprise team that he got traded to. And it was to the Milwaukee Bucks. He gets moved to Milwaukee for Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday goes to what's that damn team? To Portland. DeAndre Ayton, who helped facilitate that trade, goes up to Portland as well. Joseph Nurkic from Portland goes down to Phoenix. And Grayson Allen from Milwaukee goes down to Phoenix as well. So let's get Dame out the way, D-Lock. First, let's look at the Milwaukee perspective. I know we ain't done them yet. We ain't talked about them yet. What are your thoughts on this pertains to Giannis and trying to keep him around? What does Damian Lillard bring to the table for Milwaukee in the quest to get back to the NBA Finals?
Well, I think this is a big move. This is usually what we see the Lakers, possibly the Heat. These teams make those big moves to keep their big players. And to go out and go grab someone with the caliber of Damian Lillard's after Giannis has, said, hey, he doesn't necessarily want to leave Milwaukee, but he wants to see where they're going to see if he wants to, stay around. I think this is a big move. I think this is a huge move. And they want to continue being competitive. Now, that's not a knock towards Jrue Holiday, but Jrue Holiday and Damian Lillard, I think, are two totally different, players. And going to grab a Damian Lillard, I'm pretty sure definitely excites, Giannis. So, them actually going to get a Damian Lillard raises the chances of them being back in the NBA Finals, which they won a couple years ago. So for me, I think that this is a hell of a move. The only question or problem that I have that we'll see as the season goes is Chris Middleton healthy?
Yeah.
If he can be healthy, then I think that this team is one of the better teams, not only in the East but overall in the NBA. And I think that now you have someone else who Giannis can dish it out to, that can make clutch shots when they need. Instead of it, time winding down and Giannis, who we know is very aggressive to the rim, the defense, comes and gravitates towards him. You can't do that now, leaving somebody like a Damian Lillard wide open at the 3-point line. So I think it's a hell of a pickup. And I think this is what, Giannis probably definitely wanted to see prior to making a decision if he wanted to leave Milwaukee or not.
I look at Milwaukee side of things real quick. You get the better offensive player in Damian Lillard. No bones about that. I think you get a clutch player in Damian Lillard. The defense is going to take a little tumble. He's average at best, but he's average at best at defense, but I think he should be just fine. They did sign Cameron Payne today to kind of help with that backcourt depth, so that should be fine. For Milwaukee, losing Grayson Allen, it's not the worst thing in the world, but your depth takes a little hit. So if this don't show Giannis that Milwaukee is committed to get somebody to kind of put him over the hump, I don't know what is. Like you alluded to about Chris Middleton, he's been having knee issues the past couple of years. And I thought maybe, he might be in the next trade talk. How much can you guarantee his health? That's something to kind of keep an eye on over the course of the year. Can Milwaukee kind of upgrade that spot or get somebody healthier or somebody in the same realm with Chris Middleton who got good knees? So I like the trade for Milwaukee. They swung for the fences. I didn't expect them to do this. To the Portland, well, let me go to the Phoenix side of things real quick. Get it, Nurkic. Solid move. Guy ain't gonna demand him for the ball. Ain't gonna look for the like Ayton. So you got the perfect guy down low for y'all at center. Getting Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, and Allen to kind of fill out your depth of your squad. Solid in return for Phoenix. Still got to figure out that point guard spot. There were rumors of them trying maybe going on Kyle Lowry, in which I kind of surprised Miami. I'll get to Miami here in a little bit. I kind of surprised Miami didn't move Lowry in any deal for Damian Lillard. But, if Phoenix was trying to get Kyle Lowry as well, that's real top heavy right there. But getting Nurkic, Nasir Little, a guy you can develop, and you ship out Ayton, who didn't want to be there anymore anyways, you got to consider that a win for Phoenix. And, to look at Portland side of things, they've got the 2 first-round picks from Milwaukee. Before tonight's show, ladies and gentlemen, I was like, before we do Atlantic Division, one of the things about Boston I was worried about was the guard depth. And Jrue Holiday, and before the Jrue Holiday trade, and now they got Jrue Holiday in the fold in Boston. this move right here, this might put them over the hump. And you might be talking about, I ain't seen the Vegas odds on it yet, but they at least had to be like top 3 in Vegas of winning the championship. Boston got to beat. You get rid of the injured guard that you're trying to trade early in the offseason in Malcolm Brogdon. I hate that they had to give up Robert Williams. And I kind of wish maybe they could have worked something else out, maybe given them first round pick and keep Robert Williams, but I guess it's for the salary purposes, but you lose somebody, a defensive presence down low, but you gave one in the front, in the backcourt. So I don't know if it's kind of like a wash there, in that sense. But damn, how long in this show, D-Lock, have we talked about, Boston kind of need that true kind of point guard to kind of stabilize this team.
Yeah, that's been something that we've talked about, a lot. And making this big move that they did, I think helps out a lot, for them moving forward. And it's something that they probably definitely needed to do, especially seeing what Milwaukee just done.
And to talk about the Portland and Boston trade, they got 2 first round picks from Boston, along with Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams. So you look at the scope of everything. Portland has received Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, and Robert Williams in the trade for Jrue Holiday and Damian Lillard and the first round picks. Milwaukee gets Damian Lillard. Phoenix, Keon Johnson, Nurkic, Nasir Little, Grayson Allen. Out of all, between 4 teams right there, who do you think came up on top in that trade scenario?
Well, for me, I think the big addition of Dame did a lot for Milwaukee. You had a hell of a team already. But I think the biggest thing about these moves that makes it a win for Milwaukee for me is the fact that they're more likely going to keep their key player in Giannis. He wanted to see what they were going to do to keep, to be on the same goal, have the same goal he does. And going to make a big move like this, I think definitely helps. We've seen multiple players in different teams say, hey, I want to see this team make a move to be contending for a title. And a lot of times, as much as they would love to see that and happen, it doesn't. A lot of these teams say, hey, well, we're going to stick with what we do have, and they do not make that big move. You got to look at one LeBron James with the Lakers. He first gets there, they have the squad that they have, right? I believe it was a young Lonzo Ball and a few other pieces. I think Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, very young pieces that are pretty decent, pretty, I would say pretty good players now, outside of Lonzo being hurt. They made a big move to go trade for Anthony Davis. They had a bad season with LeBron. After that, they made the move going to get Anthony Davis. And as much as we want to see them compete for another title and win another title, it paid off already in my eyes. You went and got you Anthony Davis, and you've won a championship. Many people may call it bubble championship, whatever they want, but they won a title. So, Giannis, basically letting Milwaukee know, hey, I want to be contending for a title wherever I go, whether that's in Milwaukee, New York, LA, Boston, wherever. They wanted to make sure that he stayed there. And again, we're talking about Milwaukee, where we've seen many players go there, start their career there, and go somewhere else. The biggest player, we can talk about is Kareem. So, making this move, I think, is a big win for Milwaukee out of all teams. I think it does change the trajectory of how long this team can be successful as well. And also now you're talking about tagging a Dame and Giannis together. It's going to be players that want to, they're going to want to see what's going on in Milwaukee now. You're not going to have as many players just go straight to Phoenix and join Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Or hell, even go to LA to join AD and LeBron. Milwaukee, even though that's probably a little colder than both Phoenix and LA, but the fact that you got those two stars together, I'm sure that players are going to be very interested and see where things go. So I think Milwaukee definitely had a big win in this trade.
I look at this. I look at it like this. Like I said about Phoenix, I think you get a center that ain't gonna take a lot of touches away from Bill, Durant, and Booker. So I think that's great for them. And whoever you have to slide that up, the starting five, maybe Grayson Allen. I think he can run a little bit point as well. For the Milwaukee, I think is a big swing. I think you get another closer because I think Middleton is very good at that role, but to add somebody else in that fold with you, it's like kind of I want to say ice in the cake. But it also depends on Middleton's health. If he's healthy, hey, cool. Two closers in close games, especially come playoff time. So you're playing against Philly, you're playing against Boston, the Knicks. You could have if you're the top seed, maybe you playing Orlando Magic in a 1-8 matchup. And one of those tough games, you got to pull out. You got Damian Lillard there to kind of help seal the deal. So I like that trade for Milwaukee, swung for the fences. And then for Portland, you get the clock going on Scooter Henderson. You get that clock moving. You get him day one as your starting point guard. That's what the end result should be in this trade for Damian Lillard. Get the clock started on Scooter Henderson. Now, DeAndre Ayton, I think this is a good reset for him. I think, he'd be one of the more focal points. And I think he'll get some touches. But, if Mr. Ayton, you listening, you got to be committed to a little bit of defense as well. If you can do that, I think they'll go along with this. Maybe Portland could be a surprise team. Who knows? But, you got Robert Williams in the fold now, so you got that, defensive, backup there. Malcolm Brogdon, he's a fine player, D-Lock. If he's healthy, he's healthy. And I told Boston fans, yeah, if the dude healthy, yeah, he can help. But, when he's hurt, he's hurt. And it showed. Looking towards the end of the last season, especially the postseason. They didn't play like 7 minutes in that game 7 against the Miami Heat. That says a lot for your reigning sixth man of the year. And then they try to trade him to the Clippers and try to keep Marcus Smart. Now and let me ask you this, D-Lock. If the injury thing was a hiccup in the previous trade early in the summer to the Clippers, how did this one go through if he's still kind of hurt, if he's hurt or whatever, or if he's good to go?
Yeah,
that's a question right there.
Yeah, that it is. Maybe they like this trade better than what they get somewhere else.
I guess, but I was thinking about this. I was at work. I was like, damn, this dude had to trade. They had to send him back because, well, Nick to trade with him because he was hurt. And the Clippers, no, we ain't going to do that. And now I kind of seeing this like Portland is going to take him willy-nilly. And of course, Portland don't care because, they kind of, hit the reset button. But I'm just thinking like, damn. If you're Milwaukee, you're like, damn. Of all the places they're going to send him to, they send him there. And we'll give our predictions here in a little bit. But you sent him there, Boston. Who's going to be a team that we're going to have to be a foil is going to be against us all year. So I think Boston, they got, like I said, I think if they're not at least the top of odds to win the NBA championship through Vegas odds, I don't know what they got to be at least top two. Every team I can really think of, maybe higher than them, is maybe the Lakers, the Suns, or the Nuggets. Maybe the Bucks too, but Boston got to be top two. They got to. I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I think that, with these trades happening, I think this is a big move. I really like the fact what Boston has done. They have brought more into that on the defensive side, but somebody that can score as well. But again, and I'll touch on them a little bit later on in this preview. I really think that Milwaukee did a hell of a job with this. And I guess you could say they have a big three, but hell, if Chris Middleton has to be healthy for me to say that. And not to see him, continue to be healthy. But I definitely like what is going on. And as you alluded to before, there are more trades to come, I believe. More things that happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think more trades going to happen as well. I think, we just got to get through training camp and all that stuff, and we'll see what happens then. But before we get to our previews and stuff, D-Lock, I do want to shout out to the chat. Shout out to the founder, Larry B. How you doing tonight, sir? And shout out to Adam Karnick in the chat as well. The Central Division, Adam, will be doing here in a couple weeks. We'll talk about your Bulls then. I got a lot to say about them. But your Chicago Bears, man, I don't know what to say about the Bears. I look at the stat line like, damn, Justin Fields had a great best game in his career so far, and they lose by 3. I was like, damn, I must to the Broncos too. But anyways, shout out to y'all in the chat. D-Lock, let's get started with the Atlantic Division. This division, ladies and gentlemen, is a very tough one if you look at it. You got a Boston team that was like one game away to return to the NBA Finals with a rookie coach and a lot of controversy that happened before the season. So this new coach, this Joe Mazzulla, is coming in year 2. The New York Knicks made a couple signings, made it to the second round of the playoffs, kind of ran out of gas. Can they, return to that path again? The Philadelphia 76ers. A lot of questions on that team. Is this team on the verge of a breakup or a retool? The Brooklyn Nets. Can Mikal Bridges turn to an all-star and lead this team to the playoffs? And for the Toronto Raptors, is this team going backwards as we speak? But D-Lock, the floor is yours. 5-1. That's 5 being your the lowest team, 1 to close out the division. Who do you got, sir?
Okay, so for me, this division is got some pretty good teams. I mean, you talk about 4 teams that made the playoffs last year. Brooklyn, New York, Philly, and Boston. So I think that these teams are not really close, but they definitely can make an impact on the East. But obviously, after seeing the trade that we've seen today, I think that makes a big difference in how the East can end up shaping up at the end. But as usual, I'll start with my bottom team first. And right now, my number 5 team, the Toronto Raptors. Fred VanVleet was there last year. He's gone. You got Dennis Schroeder. OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and Jakob, a couple other pieces. Gary Trent, Boucher, and Precious. That's basically their main core guys. You're probably going to throw in a little bit of Jaden McDaniels. But we've seen, I believe you sent it to me a few times, that this team don't know what the hell they want to do in these trades.
Yeah.
It seems like they're going to be involved, and then they're not going to be involved. It seems like they're okay with trading maybe Pascal Siakam, and they change their mind. Like, you don't know what the hell is gonna happen. So for me, I kind of want to stay a little bit away from this team of putting them in the running because, hell, we may see somebody get moved before the trade deadline. And the biggest thing for that is, that tells me that you're going to see, more of a Scotty Barnes. Maybe they start to trend towards rebuilding. You didn't pay VanVleet, so now you have, Dennis Schroeder, who I believe we heard that Toronto was thinking about trying to get into the Dame trade, and then hell, they backed out, probably depending on what they were asking for. So for me, I think that Toronto is that team that we're going to see very inconsistent. Not necessarily be a bad team in the East, because you got some great pieces in none of these Scotty Barnes and Siakam. It's just the consistency of what they're going to do. Who's going to be the one that stays? Are they going to trade somebody? Like, it's so many different things that can happen. So for me, like I said, I definitely got Toronto at the 5 and kind of see where they land and see, hell, do they end up moving somebody? This is where it gets very, very interesting. Number 4, I got the Brooklyn Nets. You had trade for Mikal Bridges midway season. He came in and played pretty well. Cameron Johnson is starting to step up. Spencer Dinwiddie as well. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's very inconsistent to me right now.
Yeah.
I think he's a better 3. I think he's a better small forward than power forward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think they need to find out where he needs to fit. But along with that, you do have Ben Simmons. At some point, we have to see him make that move. And right now, it just seems like ever since the Philly thing, like he has not been able to grasp, get back to what we've seen him be in Philly. Now, to be honest, I think that this is probably the better move for him with Spencer Dinwiddie running the point. And I think they also got Dennis Smith Jr. as well. I think that Ben Simmons is better to play the power forward. So, I was just talking about Dorian Finney-Smith. Maybe you have Finney-Smith coming off the bench and move Ben Simmons into that 4th position. If we can see the best Ben Simmons. But we need to see if he can be healthy and if he can do something, the Nets would be pretty decent. And another player I know that I'll let you talk a lot about him is Cam Thomas.
Yeah, it's my man.
Yes, they need to figure out what the hell they about to do with him, because he goes in there. This dude to go in there and play. This dude to go in there and play 5 minutes and go get you 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. But the problem is they only play him 5 minutes. He won't play unless Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Dennis Smith, and Lonnie Walker is hurt. So I think that is a diamond in the rough that they have in Cam Thomas. They need to find a way to get him in this rotation. I think that would play a big, big part for them. But this team is very loaded at the forward position with Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and Finney-Smith, also Russell Neal. So if they could figure that out, I would love to see Cam Thomas play, because him on the court last year, he gonna take them damn shots. And if you get him involved, I think this team is a hell of a lot better. But I do have them at 4. If Ben Simmons can be the Ben Simmons of old, I think we do see them making a big impact. Possibly making the playoffs or the play-in. Now, number 3. I got the New York Knicks. You're coming back with basically the same core group of guys, but you got Josh Hart from the beginning of the season. Another big piece they picked up, I think he'll play a big part on the defensive side and scoring a little bit, is Dante DiVincenzo. I really like that piece. The question is, where does he really fit in a lot? Right now, I don't have Josh Hart starting, so you're probably going to have him and Emmanuel Quickly. Those are probably going to be your guards. DiVincenzo, who did play the 3 position in Golden State, he probably moved there as well. Another huge pickup was Isaiah Roby. We've seen this team struggle, down low when Julius Randle and possibly Mitchell Robinson been out. Jericho Sims did something, but not enough. Isaiah Hartenstein didn't live up to what I thought he could be there. So grabbing Isaiah Roby was a big deal. Also, another person, again, he's in that Cam Thomas situation for me, is Nathan Knight. You see him, at Minnesota come in and play a hell of a game, but he will only play like 4 or 5 minutes. So they've addressed a big situation for them, and that was down low with just having Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. Going to go get a couple guys like a Roby and Nathan Knight. I think the Knicks will be pretty good. I really love what Jalen Brunson came out with last year. I think he could be a little bit more consistent. And I think RJ Barrett finally makes that step. And I think that he makes that step, of being one of the better players in the league. He has to be a much better efficient shooter, though. And that's what really hurt him last year. But like I said, the Knicks are one of those teams that I think without a doubt they make playoffs. It's just about how far they go. But a little bit more depth, I think that helps them. Now, not so much pressure is on Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett. Josh Hart, now already there through camp, I think is going to definitely help out the Knicks. So I definitely see them making a big impact in the East. They just in the damn Atlanta division with Philly and Boston, and I just don't see them passing them at all. Number 2, I got the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
Now, I know that we have a lot of stuff going on with James Harden. Him and Darren Moore have their things. Hell, we don't even know how that situation is going to go. But, and this is a big but, you got Joel Embiid. You have one of the top 2, reigning MVP on your team. That plays a huge part in this team. If you can have him healthy, I think that with or without James Harden, this team is one of the better teams in the East. You went and picked up a Patrick Beverley, who we know is going to bring that mindset that this team really needs, the physicality. Tyrese Maxey is a hell of a guard, if the James Harden thing does not happen the way they want. Tobias Harris, I'm still out on him right now. I mean, I need more consistency from him. But along with that, they did bring in Kelly Oubre, which is a hell of a pickup in my eyes. So for me, I like this Philly team. And to make sure that Embiid does stay healthy and help out, they went and grabbed him Obama, who can come in and get some minutes, which, drafted out of Orlando, as we do. We draft players, let them go somewhere else. So for me, I really like this team. I know that you got the James Harden situation. And if I'm Philly, if I'm Darren Moore, to be honest, I would have been moved James Harden. All these pieces that you have already, Tyrese Maxey, Anthony Mel, Joel Embiid, you got Kelly Oubre. Okay, you know what? James Harden don't want to be here. The biggest situation that I need help with, I need help with a power forward. I need another small forward. These are the things that I would ask for moving James Harden. So again, I think that this Philly team is somewhat a special team. If they can get James Harden to play like a James Harden, I think they're still one of the better teams in the East, even though I doubt that he goes back. But I definitely love this roster just because of the extra the guy that they have in Kelly Oubre, Patrick Beverley, and Tyrese Maxey is one of the better guards. It's just seeing him share the rock with James Harden, we haven't seen him be able to just be that guy. And I think if they do move hard, we will see that, and we will see this Philly team still be, pretty good. And number 1, the Boston Celtics. We lose a big piece in Robert Williams, but I think that they knew, you got into Porzingis, who we know is injury prone for the most part. You're going to ask for a hell of a lot more out of Al Horford. But you still got Jason Tatum. You still got Jaylen Brown. Then you go get Jrue Holiday. So, as you said before, the question or the problem that we wonder is the guard position. You need consistency. We didn't know exactly how much of what Malcolm Brogdon was going to do. And if he was going to be healthy. Because obviously a trade we thought was going to be a good trade didn't go down because of quote unquote Brogdon's injury. So now you go get you somebody like a Jrue Holiday. He's going to bring that energy. He's going to bring a defensive mindset. I like that. And I think that this team is still going to be one of the better teams in the East. Honestly, I see them actually making it to the Eastern Conference Finals again. And I think that if they do get that chance, with the guy that they have, I think that they'll be a huge problem for many teams. Now, obviously, the biggest thing, Kristaps Porzingis got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That is like the biggest thing. If he cannot stay healthy, they're gonna really, really regret trading away Robert Williams. Now, I'm not trying to say it as if Robert Williams is the most healthiest center ever, but I'm thinking you possibly move Robert Williams knowing that you have Porzingis there. So, but for me, like I said, I definitely see them back to the Eastern Conference Finals. 5 Toronto, 4 Brooklyn, 3 New York, 2 Philly, Boston at the top.
All righty. I got Sunday Night Football in the background. They showing Taylor Swift every 2 seconds. A Chief player does something. I was like, oh my goodness. Let me just turn my head. I think me and you are almost in the same boat. 5, I got the Raptors. I got to start line up with Dennis Schroeder, OG Onubody, Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and Jacob Patel. Masai Ujiri is a fine GM to a point. And I'm starting to wonder if there's a cap on him. Is he a good roster construction type of guy? Does he overvalue players? Because we've been hearing Siakam, Van Fleet, OG, and others in that within that team in trade talks for a good couple of years. And he is scared to pull the trigger for some reason. If they had a chance to get Damian Lillard, you got to take that chance. Like the chance he took on getting Kawhi Leonard. Swapping DeRozan for Leonard. And led Toronto for their first ever championship. I like to say, I'm sure OG's a fine player. I like Siakam. But if they've been part of your team the past couple of years that kind of, regress, then you got to ship them out and get new parts in. As OG Oyemani is like a hiccup to getting like guys like Jaylen Brown, Damian Lillard. I think a name is escaping me. Then I don't know what's going on with him. But if you're Toronto ownership, you kind of got to put a little pressure to Masai there to kind of get some things done. And I think we'll probably talk about it down the line here on the show. But I think it goes to the bigger question, like, are some of these GMs kind of overvaluing these certain players? I'll talk about the Knicks in a little bit, but like for the Knicks, for example, Mitchell Robinson. I saw a report, the Knicks try to ask for like a whole bunch of first round picks. No one's giving you a whole bunch of first round picks for Mitchell Robinson. I'm sorry. I know Rudy Gobert kind of reset that trade market years ago. But damn, like we got to come back down to reality here. Now, could Toronto be a sneaky team that could reach the play-in? Sure. They long, athletic. They add, Grady Dick in the draft, who I wonder if he plays well enough that do they ship out Gary Trent to get, some more pieces or whatever, or future draft capital. Gary Trent's in the contract year. Siakam's in the contract year. So those two guys in the contract year as well. Schroeder is not on an expensive deal. So I like you alluded to, I wonder if this team is headed towards more of a rebuild than to contention. It kind of all depends how they start the season. But I got Toronto at 5. 4, I got the Brooklyn Nets. I got to start off with Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges at the 2. I put Finney Smith in there, but they can also go with Royce O'Neal at the 3. And then you got Cam Johnson and Nicholas Claxton at the 5 spot. This is like a middle of the road type of roster here. Like nobody really, besides Bridges, who him and Cam Johnson played well in the summer for Team USA and the FIBA championships. But after that, Spencer Dinwiddie, he took a step back. Claxton, he was hurt for parts of the year. Joe Harris, he's non-existent. I did like their draft where we discussed, getting Noah Clowney from Alabama, a guy who could be a stretch for. Got to work on being a better defender, but a lot of potential right there. And you alluded to about, a lot of tweeners on this roster. If we really look at it, like no set positions. Royce O'Neal, tweener. Finney Smith, tweener. Cam Johnson, tweener. So a lot, Dinwiddie, tweener. Cam Thomas, tweener. So a lot of tweeners on this roster. And some of y'all probably saying, what's a tweener? Like, guy that you could stick at one position, but Pine played better there at certain points. All that good jazz. I do worry about the coaching. Jacques Vaughn, ever since he took over for Steve Nash, was kind of hit and miss. Go back to that playoff series against Philly. When they needed some scoring, you had a young player named Cam Thomas. And at one point during last season, this guy was racking up 40 games in his sleep. And I was like saying to myself, like, damn, you need scoring. You're breaking elimination. Why not play this young guy to get some scoring going for your team? But that never happened. I don't think he played more than 5 minutes in that whole series. Or been a bandwagon for firing Sean Marks. I think, he kind of showed his competency. And Joe Tsai, the owner, he's definitely competent as well. But I think, depending on how things go, I think Jacques Vaughn will get fired first before Sean Marks gets the axe. And, the rookies, I like the rookies, Tariq Whitehead, Noah Clowney, but Cam Thomas, he got to be a 6th man off the bench for the squad. But for some reason, I do got this team making the play-in. The Ben Simmons factor for me, if he plays well, and, come in and play and contributes, that's fine. I think he's the next person we probably see in the trade. And this team was in the running for Damian Lillard, and you kind of looking at it now, D-Log, is like maybe they should have made a stronger push for Damian Lillard. Get out of Ben Simmons' contract. Maybe throw in Cam Thomas, a couple first round picks or something like that. Joe Harris, get that contract off your books, and you probably land Lillard. So that's another thing right there. Going back to Sean Marks, how interested were you in for Damian Lillard? If you had Damian Lillard with a Mikal Bridges, the way he played ever since he got to Brooklyn, hey, that if you look at Brooklyn, you kind of cooking there. But I got them at number 4, mainly because of the coaching, and I think there's kind of a couple upgrades right there in the roster you can do. Number 3, I got the Philadelphia 76ers. The reason I got them at number 3 is the uncertainty with James Harden. I don't know when he's gonna get traded. Since Damian Lillard and Jrue Holiday, DeAndre Ayton got moved. I think he gets moved as well. When, I don't know. And it could be a surprise team that could come in and swoop in and trade for Harden. But Daryl Morey got to get this figured out soon. If not, I think he should be in the chopping block as well. Because wherever handshake deal they had, it is out the window. Daryl promised him something. Daryl promised him something for him to say what he said when James was in China. And when James was in the strip club in Houston, but the bottle girl had to sign out coming out saying Daryl Morey's a liar. So something was agreed upon, D-Log, for him to say what he said. And has continued to say behind closed doors or out in public to anyone that hears or sees it. And then you got the contracts also. Tobias Harris, last year his deal. Tyrese Maxey, they're kind of dragging their feet to give him an extension. Joel Embiid, seems like he's throwing snide remarks every chance he gets if something else happens. So this team is kind of like, we're kind of like tick, tick. We ain't at the boom part yet, but it's slowly getting there. But I got them at number 3. Getting Patrick Beverley was a good move. Mo Bamba, solid move. If he can come and contribute. PJ Tucker got to score a little bit more. He can't have having goose eggs out there this season. So he got to contribute and score. And then it wouldn't surprise me, D-Log, if they flip Tobias Harris for something. I think that's something to keep an eye on as well. Does somebody else besides Horton get flipped for something else to kind of compete to be with Joel Embiid? And also, you got Nick Nurse as a new coach. Doc Rivers is no longer there. So how are you going to factor into things as well? But I do got them at number 3. Number 2, I got the New York Knicks. Can Tibbs get this team over? Can Tom Thibodeau get this team over? It's like with Tibbs, like he gets a team to a point, but they can't just kind of get over that little track, like the little engine that could. You just can't get over that point with his squads. I got a starting lineup of Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes. Like he loves that dude, so I think he'll be the starting lineup. R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. Like I alluded to about Mitchell Robinson, I think Leon Rose is smoking good crack if he think he get multiple first round picks for Robinson. I do got this question for Julius Randle. Could be time be running out with him in New York? This past year wasn't the best. Still played pretty solid at points. Put up good scoring numbers, even though the rebound is a lot to left to be desired. If he don't play well, could they do a shakeup there? You know, the Embiid situation. Could it be a package of Mitch Robinson, Julius Randle for Joel Embiid? Something to look out for. DiVincenzo was a good pickup. You know, they gave Josh Hart an extension. I like that for him. So you got those two guys off the bench. Um, Isaiah Hartson down low, I think he's pretty solid. Can be better, you know, and a better score down low than Mitchell Robinson. So I think that's something to kind of keep an eye on right there. But it all kind of rolls down to Tibbs. Can you not like run these guys in the ground and get them over the hump? You gotta think about this if you're a New York fan, you think about this. Miami didn't get too much better. They lost a lot of guys. You know, Toronto, they kind of on the back pedal. Milwaukee, they got Dame. I'll talk about Boston in a second, but Boston got a new facelift. You know, Philly, they're kind of in flux. So if you're New York, can you get past a couple of squads to make it to the finals? It'd be a real team to watch this year. And of course, number one, I got the Boston Celtics. Now, before this preview, ladies and gentlemen, I had Derek Wright, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, and Robert Williams as the five that project starting five. When that trade happened, and I saw Robert Williams included in that trade, I said, damn. I I get it, but it's like, could they sacrifice Al Horford for that? Boston, the depth, the bench is not. It's not really a lot to be desired for. If you really look at it, it's like if you look at this roster and on top of your head, you can't really name a bench player. Now, of course, Jrue Holiday coming to the fold. Derek White goes to the bench. But after Derek White, who can you name? Peyton Pritchard. That's really about it. I mean, I know they signed Wayne Gabriel today. You know, he should come in and compete for a backup big spot. But after that, it's like he don't really don't anybody like that. I got a starting lineup of Jrue Holiday, Brown, Tatum, Porzingis, and now Al Horford. Your guard depth is your guard point guard position is a lot better than it was last year. I think they fumbled the Marcus Smart situation. Brogdon and his injured self kind of, let's put it to this way, D-Lock. They would love to keep Marcus Smart over Marcus Brogdon. We saw that over this summer. But since Brogdon was hurt, you had to trade away Marcus Smart to make the deal work.
Right.
Because you already told Porzingis, hey, baby, we'll bring you in. And now you got to get, rebound things and stuff like that. Now I wonder, could have been a scenario that they could have kept Smart and got Jrue Holiday in the fold. Maybe not. But you kind of look at, did they kind of fumble the Marcus Smart did the part right there? But I'll say this. You get a quality point guard in Jrue Holiday, an all-NBA type of player, an all-star, a guy that can be a point guard. And I think that's what Boston has been kind of missing to go along with Brown and Tatum. I think Marcus Smart, great as he was for Boston, he got them by. And now you got somebody that only can get you by, but can put you over the hump. Can make good passes. Be smart with the basketball. Not taking wild, erratic shots. And can play sound defense just as good as Marcus Smart. And you don't have to have Jaylen Brown to dribble the ball. Jason Tatum dribbling the ball. You got a guard right there. And also you got Derek White right behind him. So you got now Boston got that ball handling situation covered with your first unit and your second unit. I do worry about the back end a little bit. Al Horford, a year older. Porzingis, not the world's best defender. But the offense, though, the offensive possibilities with this squad is endless. Porzingis, he's stretching the floor out. Al Horford stretching the floor out. Tatum, Brown, and now Jrue Holiday in the mix. This team's gonna be tough.
Oh yeah, big time. I thought the same thing.
Like, damn. I think there's some good veterans out there they can pick up, like a Nerlens Noel who's out there. So maybe, to add for like defensive presence. But damn, that starting five right there, they're gonna be tough. So, and like I said, with the Jrue Holiday trade, D-Lock, I think Boston is one of my favorites to win the NBA title. And as a Laker fan, I hate saying that, but damn. I say, damn, this is a good move. Kudos for them to go out and get the Holiday. I know if you're a Milwaukee fan, listen to this, like, you probably say, damn, man. Out of all places, he get traded to there. Like one or two places that if you're a Milwaukee fan, you didn't want to see him to go. Maybe three. Philly, Boston, Miami.
Yeah, them the team they definitely didn't want them to, go big time.
If he wound up in Ramsey, if he wound up in damn Charlotte or playing for playing for the Kentucky Generals or something like that. Fine, cool. But those three teams, or nobody else in the West, you guys, if you mark, if you say like, damn. Because if you're in Milwaukee, if you're in playoff series beforehand with like Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon before that trade, you taking Dame over those two dudes any damn day of the week in playoff situations. Milwaukee versus Miami. Lowry's a little bit older. They got no depth at the guard spot right now. You taking Dame in that situation. Philly, same thing. Love Maxey, but you take Dame in that situation. And especially over Harden, who's scared to play defense at times. You taking Dame in that situation. But now Boston, with that crew, no. The pendulum swings to Boston in this instance. So I got Boston number one to finish atop of this division, to finish first in the East standings. And I ain't gonna say all the way to the finals, but damn it, they're going right back to the Eastern Conference Finals as long as everybody's healthy. Like I said, Holiday has missed some time this past year. Porzingis as well. I know Tatum Brown, they are consistent. And I think another key thing, if Joe Mazzulla can figure the thing out, I think will go a long way. Getting Sam Cassell for that as assistant coach, key as well. I think that will help a lot of things as well. Help with Joe Mazzulla's his coaching. And hopefully Sam, after the season, gets a head coaching job somewhere. Because it's been long overdue for Sam Cassell to get a damn job. But getting Sam Cassell in the fold as well will help this team go a long way. So Boston will finish at the top of the East. I'm saying right now, and this recording October 1st, they'll make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals against Sue, to be determined. But I got Boston 1, New York 2, Philly 3, Brooklyn 4, Toronto 5. I'll let you speak.
I mean, I definitely, man, we were damn near spot on. And for those listening, we reveal these to each other live. So this is not anything reviewed prior to. But I'm definitely very, like I said, I can see why you have the Philly at 3. I mean, that Daryl Morey and James Harden situation, we don't know what the hell's going to happen with that. And it could play a huge part, in where they land. But, man, to be honest, felt like once Jrue Holiday got traded to Portland, Boston had no choice but to get this done. Because I feel like if they didn't, Miami would have. Or another team. I forgot the other team that you said. You said Boston, Miami, and the third team was who?
Philly,
right. So you're in a situation where, hell, you're gonna have to move some pieces to go get Jrue Holiday, because if you don't, one of your rivals is definitely gonna go grab him. So, and like I agree, man. I think that was a hell of a pickup. They needed that quarterback for their offense, and they got it. I mean, now, like I said, they're gonna be a big team to to deal with moving forward. The only issue is, I think, what they had to sacrifice is now they don't have that. What's the word I'm looking for? Their bigs are a lot more injury prone now. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you don't have that consistent. Even though you already had Robert Williams, who just came off, his injury, he was coming back trying to be healthy. But now you got Porzingis and now Horford. Hell, I'm scared as hell to have both of them on the court at the same time for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, now it's kind of the thing that goes with it. And for me, I like what they have. But maybe we see them make a big move, if not during this year, but hell, during the off season or next year. But to be honest, they just made a huge step making this move. If we thought that Miami could compete with them before this move right here, they made a big gap between them and Miami, in my eyes. And now, hell, we can say that Dame going to Milwaukee, made a big gap for Milwaukee, being better than Boston prior to them getting Jrue Holiday. Well, hell, now they got Jrue Holiday. It's kind of like a chess move. So a big chess power move, and it was something that they needed to do. So this is, like I said, this is their chance to continue to be good. They have players that are veterans, and now you got your Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You got your defender, your quarterback. I definitely like what the Celtics could bring to the table.
And then, Jaylen Brown got a big contract extension. So he's in the 4 for 5 more years. Porzingis got a couple more years on his deal. So, so these guys, you committed with these guys for a very long time. Go back to Philly for a little bit for me. I ain't touch on Kelly Oubre. I think that's a good signing, and you need that extra score there. So I think that's a good move for him to go there. And depending on what happens with Harden and whoever else, you at least Philly, you at least get that 17, 18 point score there to kind of shorter the load, depending on what happens with Harden. If Harden ain't showing up to training camp, at least you put Oubre at the 2 guard spot and you just kind of keep on rolling there. Like I said, there's some free agents out there. Boston could bring in. Like I said, I mentioned like Nerlens Noel. I don't got like a list in front of me, but his name comes to mind of free agent players that that remain to be signed. Let me pull that up. Oh, come on now. Pulling up right now. So like somebody like Rudy Gay, he signed with the Golden State Warriors already. Josh Primo, he signed with the Clippers. Hope he gets himself checked in. Let me ask you this about the Heat and Pat Riley. The story has come out that he offered Tyler Hero, Jokic, and like 2 first-round picks to Portland for Dame, but they never got back with them. Do you think Pat kind of fumbled the ball there for a little bit, getting Dame or Jrue Holiday?
I think that he probably fumbled it on getting Jrue Holiday. I think the Dame thing wasn't going to happen. I mean, if they weren't going to take what, the trade offers that were offered earlier, I didn't see Pat Riley kind of trying to change his mind on that. So for me, I think that, they knew that, okay, well, hell, also Portland, knowing what was being offered, they're like, hell, we don't want that, and kind of being mum, they've seen other options coming around. And I don't know if everybody remembered, but we talked about it last week. And actually, Milwaukee's is one of the teams that I mentioned. I said, hey, well, hell, like if you are a team, if you are Milwaukee, you hear Giannis say all this stuff, like, yeah, you better call something. I mean, you got a good team, but clearly he wants to be more competitive, X, Y, and Z, and that's what happened. So, and like I said, with the Jrue Holiday's situation, once he got traded to Portland, Boston or Miami was going to have to make that move. In my eyes, that's what I was thinking. Now, we still have the James Harden situation out there, but I felt like, hell, now that, we know Jrue Holiday's not going to stay in Portland. If I'm one of these teams on the East, I'm damn sure making a call for him. And, Boston, made the move and had the pieces that Portland would accept. Now, obviously, I think that if Miami offered something similar for Jrue Holiday, then maybe they would have bid on that. But, I think Boston was a little bitter that Miami was a little bitter that they didn't get Dame. And also, I'm not sure if you guys seen it, but I'm pretty sure you've seen it. Where I think you sent it to me where Jimmy Butler was saying something about tampering for Milwaukee going to get Dame. So for me, I feel as if this is something that was needed for Boston, and Miami just said, "Hey, look, we wanted Dame, we didn't get him. We're standing still." Now, for me, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami called Philly and wanted some information on this James Harden situation, if there's anything they can do about it. Now, I don't see Philly want to make that move. But hell, if James Harden said he doesn't want to be there, Miami is still possibly looking for that extra piece on their team. They possibly could call for James Harden. So I think that they could have they fumbled it, but knowing that Jrue Holiday was available, Boston wasted no time.
You think James Harden would fit in that culture in Miami? I see him doing something like that, but no, with them that culture and all that stuff, and knowing how Pat he is, he ain't gonna put up with James Harden's shenanigans.
I mean, he isn't. I think that I think James Harden could fit that. I think his attitude would be a little different in that culture. Now obviously we've heard him say he just wants to play basketball, X, Y, and Z. But I think if he doesn't want to be in Philly, so if Miami were to, be mentioned to him as far as a destination for him, I think he would consider that. He would know what he's getting into. But I think that I actually think it could possibly work. It'll be tough, but somebody like a James Harden, with Jimmy Butler being that leader, I think it could, but also it just depends on what James Harden wants to do. I mean, because clearly we know what Miami is about. We know what they're aiming for, and that'll just be the decision that James Harden has to decide. Hey, do you want to stay in? If Miami is the only team that called for him, send a trade package, he has to decide: does he want to go there? Make the sacrifices and being focused and not really knowing that he can't have no situation with Pat, or does he want to stay in Philly, with somebody he clearly doesn't trust?
That'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I think some moves ain't done yet. Like I said, James Harden is going to drop here soon. After we got the James trade done, the flip of Jrue Holiday, I think, James Harden, the clock is ticking on him. Just real quick, look at the free agents. I mentioned Norris Noel's out there, Miles Leonard, Derek Favors, Gordy Jang, DeMarcus Cousins, Bismack Biyombo, Gabriel, who got signed by the Celtics, JaMarco Green's out there, Blake Griffin, who's thinking about retirement. Got those guys there. Let's see. Small forward, Mo Harkless, Stanley Johnson, Anthony Lamb, TJ Warren. If he's finally healthy, he could be a good scorer for you off the bench. Justice Winslow as well. Other guards, Will Barton, Jared Culver, Terrence Davis, Amadou Diallo, Theo Penton, Terrence Ross, Austin Rivers, point guards, DJ Augustine, Michael Carter Williams, Gordon Dragic, who I think would be a good fit for Toronto for another ball handler. George Hill, Kendrick Nunn, who I think he'll get picked up soon, and Ish Smith and John Wall. So those are free agents out there that I think will probably be picked up soon, depending on how training camp goes. To turn our attention to the WNBA real quick, the Aces are going back to the WNBA Finals. They sweep. Let me pull it up. They sweep the Dallas Wings. They closed them out 64-61 on Friday. Also in Friday's action, the Liberty beat the Sun 92-81. And in today's action, the Liberty win by 3 to win the series against the Connecticut Sun 87-84. Brianna Stewart, 27 points and 9 rebounds for her. Jonquel Jones, 25 and 15 for her to help carry the load. And also Bethnia Laney, 21 points for her, 7 rebounds as well for her. Out rebounded the Connecticut Sun, 42-33 for Connecticut. I mean, granted, yeah, you got like a triple-double out of Alyssa Thomas, but that wasn't enough, to kind of put them over the hump. And New York, they're going to the WNBA Finals. First time in a long time, more than 2 decades, back in the good days of WNBA basketball with Rebecca Lobo, Teresa Witherspoon, that crew. But to preview the WNBA Finals, D-Lock, I think this is the matchup we've kind of been waiting on all season. It's kind of like, I want to say this, like, you kind of want to just wake me up to get to this finals matchup. What are your thoughts between the Aces and Liberty, heading into the WNBA Finals?
I mean, we got some star players in this WNBA Finals, and I think that, like you said, we've been waiting to see this. I believe they had some previous matches earlier in the season. Last match, I believe Liberty ended up beating the Aces, and you did see. Seemed like the Aces kind of struggled a little bit. That game, I think they played like a couple times this season, but this is the most recent. But Brianna Stewart, did what she has done. She didn't shoot too well, but she played pretty well. And I think she's going to be one of the people to watch out for others, WNBA Finals. Also, Sabrina, I'm sorry if I butchered her name, in school. I think she's going to be another person that's going to play a huge part for the Liberty as well. And like you said, this is a series that has been talked about. And I believe we talked about a couple episodes ago. And it just seems as if this matchup was just meant to happen. We knew that it was from the get. We seen what how these teams were put together, what we expected from for them. Obviously, having Beckham as their head coach, like I love what this matchup is going to bring. And we talk about a lot of NBA, but with the WNBA, I think this match is going to bring a lot of people to watch and be very much interested, because this is one of the matches that we've been waiting for. And they had a few games, like I said, early in the season, actually blowing each other out on both accounts. Liberty blowing out I think the Aces, and then the Aces blowing out the Liberty. So they both got the best of each other before, and I think that this is going to be one of the better series that we've seen in a long time. With all these stars that's going to be there, and don't be surprised if we see a lot of actual NBA players show up to it. Showing their support. And like I said, we'll definitely touch on to it. But this is a series that, like you said, we've kind of been somewhat waiting for. But I definitely expect a big series from Breanna Stewart.
I think we've been, like I said, waiting for this matchup. It's gonna be real star heavy on both sides. I think you got the matchup of like Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson down low. So you kind of assume, I won't say assume, but you kind of think they're gonna cancel each other out in most games in this series. And I look at Sabrina, for tonight's matchup against the Sun. She played 38 minutes, but she got to put up more points. Kelsey Plum has been playing pretty damn good this whole playoff run, and if Sabrina ain't gonna compete with that, then Las Vegas is gonna repeat again. So I think guard play is gonna be like a real key thing for me. I think New York got the bodies down low to kind of wherever the A'ja Wilson storm. But I think guard play wise, because Vanderstelt, she's about 34, 35. Guard play wise, if you kind of look at giving the edge to Las Vegas, and I kind of lean towards Las Vegas in this series. So the series is going to go 5 games. I think we're going to get the full max. But if New York's guard play get a little bit better, and this is when your star is supposed to show up, then I think New York can win the series. But I got Las Vegas winning the series in 5. I think it'll be a lot of good back and forth action between these two teams. And I'm real excited about this series, especially the A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart matchup. So, yeah, give me Las Vegas in 5. Like I said, we'll be tweeting on this on our X account, X/Twitter account. But this should be a good series that's going to be tipping off here on next Sunday. So do look out for our live tweets on this game coming up. But one more WNBA news and we get out of here. Joe Lacob and the owner crew up in San Francisco, I guess got the deal done to put a WNBA team in that area. So I think that's good for the WNBA to have another team, and also kind of help kind of flesh out some of these rosters, because like some of y'all been noticing like these past draft picks, even like for 2 years ago, are not making teams. So I think this is good for the league. You get a team in another big market like that, and kind of help flesh out the roster and kind of get some of these ladies more jobs in the league. So I kind of like that move as well. I think maybe you need one more team, and then I think you're kind of up and rolling as a whole. But I'll let you have the last word.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be one of those series that we're going to remember for years. And we know the WNBA is trying to, where they are picking up and progressing. And I think that, we talk about the Lakers and the Celtics history, the Bulls and the Pistons, these different series. Maybe this is one of the ones that is going to be remembered for the WNBA. And this match, like I said, is one that we all need to check out, because remember when Breonna Stewart was killed in college.
Yeah.
So she's bringing the same energy here on the WNBA level, and hopefully we'll see that moving forward from her and others during this series. And it getting to 5 would do wonders for the WNBA. If they can go to Game 5, that would be great.
And another thing to think about too, like when the WNBA started, you had those Houston Comet teams. As talented as they were, really kind of put a face, for that league, winning 4 titles in a row. Dominating. But then, for reasons, the team don't exist no more. I think this is their gateway to kind of get back to that point. So I hope these two teams knock out the park. Like I said, it should be a great series. And like I said, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss Game 1 on the show next week. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. We got a lot in tonight. Next week is the Southwest Division. So that's New Orleans, Memphis, San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston. So get your predictions ready for next week. But D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black-813. That was Black, the word dash 813. Go Bucks, man. We playing really good right now. So I'm shocked. But we're playing very good right now. Let them know they can find you at the show's page.
You can follow the show's page at Twitter/X at FastBreak IESR. That's FastBreak IESR on Twitter/X. You can follow iSports Radio on your latest social media feeds in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter/X, YouTube. Do follow us on there on those social media channels. I have my own X page, Spawn4288, Spawn at Twitter, Spawn4288 on Twitter. I do have a show on the side called The Crooks Process, where I'll talk other things besides basketball. Do follow that show on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see the CP logo there. I do have a TikTok, The Crooks Process. Look it up through there as well. I do talk things on there as well. I do silly videos with my daughter. But till then, next week, Southwest Division, or any other news happens, we'll talk about it. Or do follow us on Twitter. We'll drop a video there. And also WNBA Finals. We'll talk about Game 1 as well. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.